Welcome to Ag Matters, covering positive agriculture stories from across Alaska on Big Cabbage Radio.
Hey, it's Tandy with Ag Matters Radio, and I'm really looking forward to today's show. Today we're talking to Barb Beckage. Barb is with the ARRC, which is the Alaska Rural Rehabilitation Corp, and I'm just really looking forward to hearing all about this. So thank you for joining us, Barb.
Thank you for having me today. The Alaska Rural Rehabilitation Corporation, or ARRC, was incorporated back in 1935 under the laws of the territory of Alaska. It was founded as a nonprofit organization under the direction of the Department of Interior and the Federal Emergency Relief Administration to administer the colony of 202 families being relocated from the Midwest. The participants in this relocation were allocated a house, 40 acres of land, necessary tools and equipment. The federal government provided loan money to enable the colonists to set up their farms and get established. ARRC administered those long-term, low-interest loans and became the entity for managing and operating the agricultural project on behalf of the United States government. Once the federal loans were repaid, accrued interest remained in a revolving fund, which ARRC continued to make loans to farmers and others involved in agricultural pursuits. And through the conservative management of the board of directors, ARRC continues its mission to this day to support the permanent development of Alaskan agriculture by providing funds for farm use loans statewide. ARRC is operated by board of directors consisting of farmers, bankers, a manager, and a small support staff. So we've had a long history. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So you started with the colonists, the original colonists in Palmer, and it's been going ever since.
Correct. It has just continued to grow. We have farmers from down on the peninsula all the way up to Fairbanks in Nenana and Delta Junction, plus here, of course, in the Mat-Su Valley.
So what kind of services do you offer for farmers now?
Some of our loans that we administer are real estate, mortgages, chattel loans, or another word for that is equipment loans, and we do lines of credit. And we also have, for future farmers, youth loans. So those are our primary operations that we support now for the local farmers.
That's great. Let's dig into those a little bit, if you don't mind. Let's start with the future farmers loans. What are those?
Okay, those are our youth loans, ages 10 to 25. And this category is, of course, for future farmers to gain working knowledge of establishing a credit history. The maximum loan amount is $5,000, and collateral may be farm or non-farm to secure the loan with a value ratio up to 70%. And an adult must be a co-signer on the loan, and for the student, they must have passing grades, no failing grade for it.
Oh, great. And what are they typically using this loan for?
They can go ahead and start gathering the working knowledge of, say, a few acres on their farmland, figuring out how to go ahead and purchase hay or feed and stuff. Say they have some cattle and they're trying to grow their business and
so
that.
It's like an adult loan in that it's like a business loan to get their business started, only on maybe a little bit of a smaller scale.
Correct. And we do set it up on monthly payments over like 5 years to go ahead and pay this back. So as they're producing whatever they're growing, whether it's vegetables or cattle, and that it teaches them how to go ahead and manage their money and get them going in their business.
Great. Do kids ever use these for their 4-H projects?
Unfortunately, we have not had any of these go out, but yes, they could be used for a 4-H project, even though the 4-H project would happen rather quickly, they would still have to have years to go ahead and pay back the loan.
And you said it's typically 5-year terms.
Yes.
But of course they can pay it off early, and I'm assuming you charge interest on that?
Yes, we do. And our interest rate right now is anywhere between 6 to 9%.
Okay, so it's a great way for kids to learn on a small scale what it feels like to have a loan, so hopefully they can manage debt better
In the future,
as an
yes.
adult.
Exactly.
Very good. So what are the other types of loans that you offer? Said something about real estate, is that right?
Yes. For our real estate mortgages, these loans can be used to purchase land with or without buildings, and it can also be used towards construction of, say, barns or outbuildings and stuff on the farm. If it's just raw land, we loan up to 10 years. And if it's land with buildings or a house, that can be termed up to 20 years. And again, the interest rate would be between 6 to 9%, depending on credit.
Okay, and so the fact that you loan on bare land, if I don't know a lot about the lending world, but if I understand correctly, it's a little bit hard to get a loan on bare land. Is that right? So this
Correct. Most conventional lending institutions shy away from raw land, and especially if it has ag covenants on it and it's listed as agricultural land, it makes it a little bit tougher because they don't have that to make sure that it is being put into farm use.
Right. So this gives folks an opportunity who are wanting to get started maybe with some sort of farm on bare land. It gives an opportunity for that.
Correct. And we will loan up to 70% of the collateral value.
Oh, great.
So they still need to be able to put something down, like 30% towards the loan value and we would finance up to 70%.
Okay. And what other types of loans do you offer?
We also offer what we call chattel loans, which is like for equipment to make capital purchases of new or used farm equipment. It can be used also towards a vehicle. Say you needed a truck for the farm or a skid steer, a tractor, a baler, and that can be, again, up to 70% loan to value, and that term is 7 years.
Okay.
And we can also use those vehicles as collateral, and that we would go ahead and if it's a truck and that's something that has a title, then we go ahead and we would get a lien put on that title.
I see. So that's similar to a conventional car loan in that you get the title once it's paid off.
Correct.
Okay.
And then we also have a line of credit, and that can be for any farming use. We would go ahead and set up a credit line with you, and you would send us an invoice to pay, say, that vendor directly, or we could go ahead and if you paid for it, we could go ahead and reimburse you. And then that amount plus accrued interest is due 1 year from the date of the draw. So say you took out a request today, 1 year from today, so the 19th of February 2026, that draw amount would be due plus whatever accrued interest. So you can pay it off earlier, or you could go ahead and wait that full year to pay that amount back. And lines of credit, if it is secured by real estate, that would be up to a 5-year line of credit. If we use equipment as collateral, that would be a 3-year term.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. And so what types of things are people typically using a line of credit for versus one of your other loans?
A line of credit could become hay season. You need to go ahead and get the stuff to go ahead and wrap it, the wrapping or the twine and stuff to go ahead and secure the hay. Your fertilizer. You don't want to wait till the last minute to order your fertilizer. You can go ahead, order it early so you have it here in time when you need it, so you can go ahead and it helps you budget better and set up your plans. Or if you need to buy seeds and stuff for your garden and everything, you could go ahead and use it towards that. Say you have a greenhouse, you need to get things in production early. These funds would be available to help with that. And then after your season, you could go ahead and pay it off even early and not have that year of interest going.
Sure. Okay. That makes sense.
And it keeps revolving for whatever that term is on your contract.
So as long as you're continually paying it off, then you're able to reuse those funds. Is that what you mean?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Well, that's interesting. What else is going on with the ARRC?
A big thing that's going on right now, especially for our soon-to-be graduating seniors, we do have a scholarship that we do every year. We have one ag scholarship and one non-restricted scholarship. The ag scholarship is sponsored by ARRC, and the non-restricted scholarship is sponsored by First National Bank of Alaska. We've already sent out to all the schools here locally and stuff for any of their FFA students or anyone that's looking at college to go ahead. Our deadline is March 25th, 2025, and they must be graduating high school senior to apply. Our application is available online at our website at arrc.us, or they can go to their high school counselor and pick up an application or more information on that.
That's great. So do you give one ag and one non-ag scholarship, or are there multiples?
No, there's one ag and one non-ag scholarship awarded every April.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about those. Tell us about the ag sponsorship first, or scholarship. So what would a person need to do to qualify specifically for the ag one?
They would need to be going to school for something within the agricultural departments of colleges, say for animal sciences, horticulture, animal and plant biology, soil and crop sciences, just to name a few. And if they are listed that way from the university that they're going to, then they would go ahead, fill out their application, submit it and everything. It goes through our scholarship committee, and then everyone, come time for our April board meeting, they would come in and do in-person interviews, and then everything's graded up and we award a scholarship.
That's wonderful.
The amount for the agricultural scholarship is $2,500.
Wow.
It's based on, again, the high school senior, and it's awarded to the school. It doesn't go to the student directly, but it can go towards their fees at college. They get one half the first semester and the second half the second semester, as long as they're passing and stuff. And then the non-restricted is a $1,500 scholarship, and that can be for any high school graduate going to college. The non-restricted can be for medical field, business administration, almost anything.
That's wonderful. And college isn't cheap, so anything that kids can do to kind of help offset that cost and not have loans at the end definitely helps.
So true, especially with prices of their tuition, their college books, their lab fees for some of the classes and everything. So this does help offset that first year.
Of course. So let's go back just a tiny little bit. I want to ask a question about your loans again. What is the typical timeline on a loan? So let's say I'm looking at a piece of land. I'm hoping to, get started farming. What is a typical timeline for something like that?
It will all depend. You'll fill out the application, get us tax returns, everything associated with that parcel of land you're looking to purchase. If there's a contract and that, we would need to see it. And we still go through all the steps that you would do for a conventional mortgage. It still needs to go through the title company. So we may be able to approve you fairly quickly, say within 20 to 30 days, but going through title company and doing any of that research and stuff that needs to be done on a piece of property, that may take a little bit longer, but we do try to get it out as quickly as possible, as long as we have all of the information in a timely manner.
Well, that makes sense. And so your probably your real estate loans are going to take a lot longer than maybe your chattel loans or your lines of credit. Is that right?
Correct. So we do try to get loans out fairly quickly, as really based on how quickly the customer gets us the information.
That makes sense too. All right. So if someone is interested in getting a loan from the ARRC, where do they go? Where do we go to get more information?
You can go to our website, www.arrc.us. We do have our loan application on there. Our scholarship application is on there, and just a little bit of history and some pictures about the ARRC. You can stop by our office at 248 East Dahlia here in downtown Palmer and pick up an application and visit with us and talk over what all you're looking at doing. Or you can go ahead and give us a call at 907-745-3390.
Barb, this has been a great talk. It's really good to know what resources are available, not just to adults, but also to kids who are interested in agriculture. So I really appreciate your time, and I am sure that there will be people giving you a shout.
I look forward to hearing from everybody.
All right. Thanks, Barb.
Okay, thanks, Tandy. I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Ag Matters, covering positive agriculture stories from across Alaska. Ag Matters is a production of Radio Free Palmer, recorded at our studios in Palmer, Alaska. For more information about this program, email manager@radiofreepalmer.org.